Taanis Daf, how's everybody doing? Continuation from yesterday. People that are traveling, they should eat, says the Gemara, like you eat in a year of famine, which is not that very much. And we have machlokes. What is the reason? In Bavel, they say the reason is because if you eat too much while traveling, it can cause stomach issues. And according to that, we said the Rav Papa, who's slightly overweight, he had no problem eating more, and he would eat for every parsa, he would eat a whole bread. And according to that, if that's the only reason, then if you're traveling by ship, you don't have the same kind of movement, and you could eat as much as you want. In Eretz Yisrael, he said that the problem is that we're concerned that you might run out of food, so you have to ration the food. And that's why, if you're traveling from, let's say, hotel to hotel, and there's plenty of food, so you could eat as much as you want. When there's famine in the world, you have to lessen the amount of food, lessen the intake. And if you do so, you'll be saved from a misa shושנה, any kind of death that's not on one's bed. If a person acts differently than the tzibur, when there's a calamity in the tzibur, so the malachim that come and are melaveh, you have two malachim, one on the right, one on the left. They point to this guy and they say he won't see the Nechama of Klai Yisrael. But if you are b'tzar, like Moshe Rabbeinu, he sat on a stone, then you will see the Nechama Tzion. The Gemara tells us that in a time of famine, the only time relations are mutter is if one doesn't have children. If one does go ahead and indulges in food and other activities during a famine, then the walls of his own home, the ceiling of his home will testify against him. The malachim, says the Gemara, according to one shita, those who are there to protect him, his bodyguard, so to speak, will testify against him. His own neshama will testify against him, and even his limbs will testify against him. The beinonim, the mediocre ones, who said, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said you should fast and act ba'avelos, and they said, let's make a party. But they said, machar namos, we are going to die tomorrow. In other words, they believed in the nevuah, if they indulged, they will have a kapara when they die. But the Rishayim, who don't believe in the nevuah, they say, let's party today and we'll party again tomorrow. Then the Gemara tells us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take away the tzaddik in that generation, that the tzaddik shouldn't have the tsar, and also that he shouldn't ask for rachamim for them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays the schar of the Rishayim, any mitzvah that they've done in this world, and therefore in Olam Haba it's going to be just punishment. And for the tzaddikim it's the exact reverse. They receive the punishment in this world, so that in Gan Eden it's free and clear, there's no punishment. And a person sees all his acts at the day of his death. They show him a video of everything, and he has to admit to everything because it's there. And he signs it off and he says, I deserve what I get. According to Shmuel, a person who fasts is considered a chayta, a sinner. And he learns it from a nazir. If a nazir refrains from drinking wine and the Torah considers him a chayta, so certainly somebody that refrains from all food and drink. According to Rish Lakish, somebody that fasts is considered a chassid. Unless, of course, he destroys his own flesh, and that's considered an achzari. Or a Talmid Chacham, who because of fasting is going to lessen his learning, that's like throwing the food to the dog. In other words, the fast is not because you're fasting, but you just don't have the food, the dog took it. If a person fasts for just a few hours, according to Rav Huna, it's considered a fast, and you can eat all the way to the night, but in the morning you say Anenu and Shmoina Esrei. But if a person, let's say, fasted the entire fast, and then he decides to add the hours of the night, that's not considered a fast. And Abaye explains, it's only because he didn't accept upon himself the fast. He just decided to extend it, so those extended hours are not part of the fast. And if he wishes, he could break that fast, and he doesn't say Anenu, because a person who accepts a fast for hours usually is considered a fast if he accepts it upon before, and he would say Anenu. And that's what they said to Mar Ukva, and they said that the barrels of a guy that have blios, they have wine that's within the earthenware of these barrels, you're permitted to use them after 12 months. And if you don't want to wait 12 months, you just soak them in water for 24 hours, and you do that 3 times. Moshe Rabbeinu, during the Miluim, he wore a white robe special for the Avodah. He didn't wear his weekday clothes, and it didn't have a hem. Have a wonderful day.